Hey guys, Cam here from today's iPhone.com, and I'm just waiting for this week's questions to load. And I think that's them. No? Quiz Cam, episode 1.0.7, coming up after the break once they load. There we go! Hey! I've got your questions, by the way. Dylan Clough, or Dylan Clough if you're Welsh, I don't know. Do you think Apple will ever make a video game console? I think they already have, and it's called the Apple TV. It's a question that I would have asked a few years ago, but now with AirPlay and games having AirPlay built in and having your iPad and your Apple TV plugged into your TV set, there's no reason why you can't just stream your games from your iPad without actually having to go and buy a bespoke games console. So I don't see Apple creating a specific games console. They've done it in the past. I believe it was called the Pippin and it didn't sell. So no, they're not going to make a specific one, but Apple TV will be getting updated so that it becomes more of a all-in-one solution that can do more than just play videos and audios. You can play any sorts of games through there, and eventually they will become console quality, and they're almost at that point now, especially with games like Real Racing 2. Jay Zarob, also, what kind of setup are you running these days? Looks like a MacBook with a huge external monitor. Yes, it is. It's a MacBook Air, just here, and I've just got it permanently hooked into the Samsung monitor. I would not spend the hundreds of pounds I would need to buy a Thunderbolt display from Apple. They're ridiculous. So just a cheapy Samsung monitor, and it does the job for me, and it means that when I go to events I can just take my laptop with me. I don't have to have two computers. What do you think about iTV? The TV, not the little box, and do you think we'll see one? It's a rumour that's not going to go away until Apple releases one. And whether or not they release one is something that nobody really knows, but we know that they're definitely looking into it. I would like to see one. I think I've answered this question before. This is feeling a little bit like deja vu. Short answer, I don't know. If you were to get an iPod Touch, which colour would you get? One that matches this case. Who started today's iPhone and who owns the channel? 3 years ago, almost now. I believe 3 years ago. In about a week's time, it'll be 3 years. It'll be our 3rd anniversary or birthday, depending on which way you want to say it. There was a lady called Adriana Lee. She was the original and managing editor and founder. She left after just over a year, and then I took over. The person who owns it is called Tom. And that's pretty much all I know about him. Would you rather see a waterproof iPhone or a bendable glass iPhone? I think, judging by looking at figures, the most common damage to phones is water damage. Most common of water damages, I believe, is down the toilet. So having a waterproof iPhone would be great. And there's obviously technologies like Liquipel where they spray it with this nanotechnology spray stuff, and it essentially stops water from getting anywhere. It's fantastic stuff, and I wish that they would involve it somehow, integrate it into the manufacturing process so that all phones had that coating on them. It would be really, really good. Not for insurance companies though, but then who cares about them? Do you see Apple making a 4.8-inch iPhone to have a chance at increasing market share since SGS 3s are selling well? Now the interesting thing here is, it would be nice to see something like the Galaxy Note. I wouldn't see them making a smartphone bigger unless it had a point for being bigger. It's not, for Apple, it's not just about market share. The products that they design, it's mostly about design. It's all about how can they make a really great product. That's what comes first. And to start with, the intention of just getting market share is not something that you would ever see Apple's designers doing. So from that point of view, no. But if they could release a larger one that would somehow, it would add to the experience, they would make it a really, really great phone, then yes. I mean, you see them releasing the iPad mini. They had to redesign the bezel and the frame, the actual chassis around it to make it small and light and thin. That was the most important thing with the iPad mini. And because of that, they left out things like a Retina display, which they could have easily put in there if they just made the device a bit bigger and bulkier and a little bit heavier. But the whole point is to make it look and feel nice. And that's what you find with most of Apple's products. That's why the iPhone 5 doesn't have a 4.8-inch display. It's usable really easily with one hand, as you can see from their adverts with their, you know, the thumb thing that they do. So no, I don't think they will, but I'm sure that they would consider it if they saw an actual day-to-day use purpose scenario for it. Your favourite product at CES 2013? Undoubtedly the Lego Mindstorms EV3. It's a Lego robot that you can control from your iPhone. Costs about $350, but it looks amazing. If you were stuck in a room, which would you choose, the iPad mini or iPhone 5? Now it depends on the room, because if I was stuck in a room, the last thing I'm thinking of is about my iPhone or my iPad. I would be wanting to find a way to get out that room pretty sharpish, so that if there was a window, I would choose whichever device I could throw at the window and smash the window open. If there were no windows, I would use either of them to browse the web on picking locks, and if there were no doors, then I would download a teleporter app or something. Sonic collects rings, not coins. Mario is the coin grabber. Yeah, I know. When I was talking about Sonic last week, I did have rings in my mind, but for some reason I said coins, and when it came to editing it, I didn't even realise, so very sorry. Anyway, that's been it from me. This was episode 1.0.7 of Quiz Cam. If you've got any more questions for me, ask them in the description, not description, that's where I type stuff. You can ask in the comments section. I'm at TIP_cam too. If you like me, you can follow me. You can ask me questions on there using the hashtag QuizCam. If you don't like me that much, you don't have to follow me. But if you do, you can also subscribe. Which side of the screen is the subscribe on? It's that side. Subscribe! Please. I make one of these every week. It's quite fun. But anyway, I'll see you again soon. Ta-ta!